restricting them to content that we think is safe. So we offer sometimes in terms of the behaviors that we're having that it might be the TV and the violence that our children are exposed to on the television that has desensitized them. Some say that it's the music, type of music that they listen to. And not going to call any specific genre, but we have heard and we hear some of it. And I hear some of it, and I might have a bias as a parent and as a police officer. And I do have a bias. And I think that there's an influence. I believe music influences behavior. I've seen enough that I think if I had to scientifically tackle it, that I could prove that music influences behavior. And I would get some images from Carnival and in support of my thinking. So we blame music and the lyrics that encourage violence. And we blame the breakdown in family values and in terms of the society. Some persons have said, and I'm guilty of saying it at times, that we have lost our identity as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. That some of us believe that once ago that meant something. We could point to specific behaviors, specific standards that we stood for, but today we are not so sure what that means when we say we are from St. Kitts and Nevis, in terms of what does a Kittitian or Nevisian, what does it mean to be Kittitian or Nevisian? And it has nothing to do with the cultures that have been part. We have always had different people of different cultures, different heritages as part of our society, but we had a distinct identity as persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. Whatever your point of view, wherever you might want to point the finger of blame, I point out, and I'll be pointing the finger as well, that when we go around the room and we count the fingers, we will realize that there's a finger pointing at each and every one of us. And that all of us has a part to play in where our society is and what we are dealing with. All of us have some measure of responsibility for our society, simply because we are the society and the society is us. I would not be considered a child or a youth based on our laws, as I'm older than 35. But I can remember that when I was in primary school, at the age of 10, I joined the Boy Scout. But back then, there was not just Boy Scout, there was Boy Scout. There were Boys and Girls Brigade. There was the 4-H Club. So there were things that we as young people could find ourselves involved in. And there are some things today, I remember that when I was growing up as a child, that the acceptable standard was that when you enter a room, it was expected that you said good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, as the case might be. That manners was the expectation, that children were encouraged to display good manners, to say please, to say thank you. And that those were things that were part and parcel of who we were as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Those were things that we could point to. And someone might argue that things have changed, times have changed, so things would be different now, and that maybe I'm being unrealistic and that we shouldn't expect that things would be like they were. But I would also argue that while times and technology have changed, that standard of behavior is one thing that can be consistent. And all of us want a society that we are proud of. All of us want children that we are proud of in the society. None of us, I hope, is satisfied with the loss of our young life, the young lives of our children, male or female, especially in the kind of violent manner that we see it. None of us, I would hope, is comfortable with some of the brazen acts of violence that we see perpetrated by our young people in St. Kitts and Nevis today. And I would hope that none of us, as much as we might say that it is too commonplace now, I would hope that none of us have settled and become comfortable with that kind of behavior. And if we are uncomfortable with the behavior, if we are dissatisfied with what we see in our society in terms of some of the behaviors of some, it's just some of our young people, then we have a responsibility to do what we can to be part of the solution. And I'm not talking about a talk shop. I'm not talking about us criticizing either the children or law enforcement or an organization that might have a responsibility by law or otherwise voluntary to do something, who is trying something to either combat or prevent some of the behaviors. But all of us, every citizen in St. Kitts, citizen and resident in St. Kitts and Nevis, has a responsibility to do what they can, what we can, to craft the kind of society that we want. And we have a responsibility that when we see behaviors that we don't want as part of our society, to become part of the solution. It is not good enough to point out that this person or that organization did not do or is not doing. And if we determine that this organization or this person is not doing, the question still comes back. What am I doing as an individual to help to improve the state of the environment that I am in? How am I contributing positively to getting or having the kind of young people that we want, so that we could have the society in the future that we want? I took some time and I went through the Child Justice Act, which is more or less the premier act when it comes to dealing with children, young persons and children. There's a difference between young persons and children. Under the act, or in most of our laws now that have been streamlined, a child is anyone under the age of 18. So by law, a child is anyone under the age of 18. You might say, but sometimes persons leave school at 16, at 17. The law still defines a child as a person under the age of 18. There's no getting around that. We don't have to agree with it, but that is what the law defines a child as. There prior to this Child Justice Act, what we had was the Juvenile Act. Persons came together and, for different reasons, but determined that the connotation of juvenile may not be the best thing in terms of where we are trying to go and what we're trying to do in terms of the best, having things done in the best interest of the child. So what we use now, we don't generally say a child. So this Child Justice Act doesn't use the word juvenile to mean the young persons under the age of 18. And for persons who are in conflict or get in any issues with the law, it uses the phrase a child in conflict with the law. So a child in conflict with the law means a child who is alleged to have committed any offense. So any child who has been alleged to commit any offense is no longer referred to as a juvenile, but a child in conflict with the law. If you want to say that's the politically correct term, that is it.
Can you repeat that again for me, please?
A child in conflict with the law. We don't say a juvenile in the way that we used to anymore. It's a child in conflict with the law. So, which means any child that is alleged to have committed any offense. It's not a juvenile offender, even though he's a juvenile offender. Juvenile meaning young. But the term, especially as it refers to the Child Justice Act, it says a child in conflict with the law, which is any child who is alleged to have committed any offense. And a child, based on the law, is anybody under the age of 18. So a few years ago, we would have said a juvenile. And we didn't have a Juvenile Act. This replaced it.
Can I actually just stick up in there? We're gonna take a quick break.
Sure.
Get a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back. The phone line will be open to hear from you guys as it relates to the conversation this morning. 465-1977 and 465-1903 are the numbers to take note of, and 662-8674. We'll be back right after these messages.
Switch to a Quartz Ready Cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. No collateral. Minimum documentation needed. Approval within 24 hours. Of payment terms. All you need to apply is your ID, payslip, recent job letter, proof of address, and 2 references. Visit us in store or apply online at www.quartz.com. Quartz Ready Cash. Ready when you are. Normal criteria and special conditions apply.
Whether it's a dress store on 4th Street, a snack in Keyon, or a village grocery in St. Paul's, our small businesses play an important role in our economy. By supporting these businesses, you are helping to create or keep a job or 2 and to revive our economy. Support our local small businesses. Buy local and keep the doors to our small businesses open. This message is brought to you by ZIZ in support of small businesses across the Federation.
Again, I'm your host, Inspector Marvin Thompson, and today we're talking about our children. And I am asking, what I would like to hear from you is that in terms of the young persons that we have who are in conflict with the law, whom we see display the behaviors that we don't like, what can we do as individuals? What do you think is the cause? Or what do you propose might be something we can do to improve our situation as a solution? Not just to point out the obvious in terms of the behaviors, but how can you help? And what do you think can be done?
Can I actually put on your headphone? We have our first call coming in. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, GQ. Good morning, Inspector.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you were very good this morning, just now.
Thank you, sir.
But I feel that we need to bring back a strong juvenile court like what we had in the 70s. And officers must render abuses, deal with it. We got too much officers at night and weekend down the port and watching the 12 years old, the 13 years old round bar drinking top drink. And that is the problem with me, with the police force. It comes to me like the commissioner of police ain't listening, you know. That is why we're getting this kind of behavior from these young people. Lawlessness. And we're going to work with it, you know. We're not going to work with it. Because Bratcher run this country, sir. Simmons, they run it, sir. You understand? And
Yes,
right
sir.
now, it look like we gone worse. It look like we gone worse, officer. So, as a wrapping up, I want you to just demonstrate that to the young officers them. Now, when I look down at the terminal, where you got vegans sleeping every night in the chairs, them, some of them think people come from Nevis, business people come from overseas to do business with us and think it. And gonna buy in these chairs, they're down there and, oh my God, it's terrible. Have a good day, officer.
Thank
Good
you,
morning,
sir.
Rose. And hello,
Yes,
officer.
sir. Yes, sir.
I want to say one more thing before I go, and please let me do that.
Yes, Mr. Manners, go ahead.
I want the station inspector to respect Rose. It's Rose on vacation and she sees fit to come in for them 2 boats at Port Zante to make us look good and hold the order down there. We have to work with it. Don't discourage you. We need officers like them. When I got to picture back about Matt Stafford Meredith, them boys live on the job. They had days off, but they live on the job to make sure everything go well. Officer don't inspector don't disrespect also. Because when I hear it, I'm going to come at you. Have a
sir.
good morning, officer.
Thank you,
and
sir.
you have to come back with your mojo another time.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank
Yeah, good morning, John Dong. You have another call coming in.
you. Go ahead, caller. You're on police in with you.
We lost that call. But they are welcome to call back.
Yes, you are. And please do.
All right, they might be back.
Go ahead, caller. You're in police with you. Go ahead, you're live.
All right, that call is not responding, so let's try the next call.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is good morning, good
Good
program.
morning, sir. Thank
but
you.
as the son said, these are modern days.
Yes.
At the school, the teacher them calm down the children them no more. So that's how the children them get and they like to fight with the teachers them and them. So that's how we got to get a juvenile case with them. Because you are juvenile, you are a man, you got to go to the court. Defend yourself. Yeah, take care.
All right, thank you. We do have a system, you know. A family court. The setting is not the same as the magistrate court. It is thought that the best thing for children may not be to treat them the same way you deal with adults and shuffle them through the court and through the prison system so that we could provide alternate options, diversion options. The setting is a little different so that the child mentally doesn't feel criminalized and you don't have the particular stigma as you might have with train them in the ordinary court. But there's still a proceeding that takes into consideration the overall best interest of the child. And if it means then, depending on the circumstances as well, it depends on the situation and the offense for which the child is before, the Child Justice Committee, which the Act speaks to, takes into consideration what might be in the best interest of the child. And it gets the report, gets all the information that it can, and uses that to determine what might be the best next step to divert the child from the life it seems to be going down, or what might be the best next step. Taking everything, but at the end, it's in the best interest of the child. So there is a court-like setting well, what would be the equivalent of the juvenile court or child's court, children's court, family court? So there is something.
You have another call coming in here. Yes, come on, your line.
Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Policing with you.
Good morning. The reception doesn't sound too good from your end, but just wanted to make a quick intervention here.
Yes, sir.
Certainly, over the years, there have been much research, many studies trying to get to the bottom of the question of what we used to refer to as juvenile delinquency. And by the way, it was called by any other name, smells just as sweet or just as unpleasant. Now, I believe that, and I think it is borne out by, like I said, all this research and so on. There is no one single factor that contributes to this phenomenon of young people under 18s misbehaving. But I believe one of the major factors, perhaps the major factor, is poor parenting, lack of proper parenting. And because that begins from birth, it is difficult to correct after the age of 18 because all during the child's most important years, and this has been established since the year 00, that it is what this child is exposed to in his earliest years, his most formative years. Some argue up to 7, 8, as late as 9, but certainly those ages. It is what he's been exposed to, the training that he's given, or lack of it, at that age is what determines how he behaves later in life. And so it depends on the parents then to ensure that proper training and discipline and so on are imparted to the young ones. So I want to mount a platform which argues that lack of proper parenting is the major contributing factor. Of course, we have lax laws, poor policing, we have criminal opportunities for crime, we have the media, music, and so on. But I believe that the largest single portion of blame, if you wish, must be ascribed to parents. I'm a parent myself, right?
Okay, sir.
Now, I think one of the major issues is that many parents do not know how to parent. They genuinely may wish to be good parents, but they don't know what to do. And so I am arguing that a thing called parenting should be introduced in schools. That's one. 2, you insist that the law defines the child as one under 18, which means that the same law allows for children to have children, because the law allows for females to start having intercourse at the age of 16, which means that the law allows for children to have children. Seems a bit contradictory to me there. And lastly, I don't know whether the authorities, including the police, have thought of examining which territories, similar to the think its makeup, socially, economically, culturally, and so on, have the best practices with respect to lowest incidences of juvenile delinquency. Which countries have the least problems, the fewest problems with respect to young people misbehaving? And what are the realities there? Have we decided to take that step and to look to see what they are doing? We heard about some people from Anguilla coming here the other day to find out why we don't have as many murders as before and so on, as many homicides. Well, can't we look to see, look at other territories to find out why is it they have such a small number, so very few incidences of juveniles or young people, children misbehaving, and let us try and pattern where possible what they practice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And the law agrees with you in many of the aspects that you mentioned, so much so that it is part of the law that it can be ordered for parents to have to go to parenting classes if the court deems or the committee deems that is one of the areas that is lacking, that it can mandate a parent or parents to have to be submitted to parenting classes, and if they violate that, then they can be held accountable. It also can mandate a family time order. That means in order to require the child to spend a specific number of hours with the family. So it's a good order behavior. A good behavior order, that is, means that it would require the child to abide by a certain agreement made under the Child Justice Act. So there are things in place, and some of which have been used. The enforcement part is, like I said, it's not trying to be policed by the normal police who have a particular criminal connotation. So probation services would have a large role to play in this regard. It's an all hands on deck issue, whether it is involving our children or involving crime or children getting into crime. These issues affect the whole society. It is an all hands on deck society, not just the ministries or the departments or organizations with a specific mandate to deal with the issues. All of the community, all of the society has to play their role.
What about the caller's observation on a child given consent to have sex at the age of 16?
That's the law. I don't like it. My bias might be my upbringing, more so now that I'm a father of 2 daughters. Police. I personally, I'm here representing the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and my job is to enforce laws. I don't have to agree with the laws. So I don't induce my opinion in whether or not I uphold the laws or enforce the laws. But like the caller before, if you're going to say 18, under 18 is a child, it doesn't hurt, and some person have said it will hurt, if you change the 16 and bring it in line with this. I disagree. I still disagree that if you're going to say child, make everything child. A child cannot have sex. So then you would have to change that the age of the consent for sex, not move it from 16 and put it to 18. So if you're an adult, then you can have sex. You can make an adult decision to have sex.
Stick up in. We have some calls coming in. Good morning, you're live.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, caller. Welcome.
To get my little 2 cents. Firstly, I just want to say to Mr. Manners that we can't always blame the police. Charity begins at home, and parents need to pay more attention to the behavior of their children. And I'm just going to give an example. As I was in a conversation yesterday, there was an incident at a school with a 5-year-old, 2 5-year-olds, and one of the parents for the 5-year-old went to the school and manhandled the other child without even having consultations. So I said this to say, the behavior of our children depicts the behavior of the parents. The parents are the ones, according to the college just a while ago, again, the parents are the ones who are supposed to guide these children in terms of their behavior. In connection to schools, I think that there should be no penalties in place for children, especially the behavior outside of school. I know when I was going to high school, let me say, we couldn't attend movies, we couldn't be certain places after 9 o'clock in the night. We couldn't. It was like there was policemen, not policemen actually, but student policemen to make sure that we behave like children. Nowadays, you're going to music festival and you're seeing even some 6-year-olds at music festivals. So again, it boils down to the parents, and I'm appealing to parents to speak to our children. Once we speak to our children, we can curb these juvenile activities because it begins at home. The behaviors that we display is outside is the behavior that children would display on the inside, and they're not being penalized. Where's tough love? You don't have to beat up a child. There are lots of ways you can, deal with punishment for children. Take away the things that they love. Take away their cell phones, their Kindles. I mean, I don't know, but that's just my 2 cents.
We always welcome the contribution. Nicola? Again, so you have a couple callers who are adamant that the root of the issue may be in our homes, how we parent or how we fail to parent, or that some of us lack proper parenting skills. I'll take the call. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to Policing with you.
Good morning, a pleasant Thursday morning.
Good morning.
GK to you and your host in the studio. A few persons already touched on some of the things that I wanted to speak about, so I'm just going to make this quick and short. Parenting in homes is where the breakdown starts. Grandparents are no longer grandparents because the parents and the grandparents are the same age group. But no respect and there's no boundary sets in the home. And these are the problems that cause starts in there and reflects out into society. We have to be careful the way we address ourselves, we carry ourselves. You cannot have respect if you don't show respect. You cannot get back the love if you don't give the love. And a lot of homes is lacking that, totally lacking that. The age group story about 18 years is consented age because that's the age to vote. So you're going to tell me that you're an adult at 18 years old, and this is where we go wrong all the time. So you can vote at 18 years old, but then you're going to turn around and tell me that my daughter, my teenage daughter in my home, who is 16 years old, can give a young boy or a man consent to having sex with her. This is where we keep going wrong. We don't line up the information properly. We don't examine the things that we're doing. We don't look thoroughly through the looking glass. How can a child be legal at the age of 18? You're an adult then. I can put you out of my house. You could then go on your own and start your own life of living. But at the same time, I have to keep my 16-year-old daughter in my house, under my roof, look after her, take care of her, until she becomes that legal age to leave my house. And in the meantime, she can go around having sex, unprotected sex, protected sex, sexy sex at the age of 16. We create these hurdles in life that confuses us over and over again, and then we sit back and we wonder, where did we go wrong? We go wrong from the top. The persons who sit in departments, the persons who sit in organizations, committee, government, wherever they are, when you sit in those chambers and you legally make these laws, and then things begin to go wrong, and then you talk about, teenage pregnancies rapidly through the island. What guy now with these young girls? You made the law. You said it was okay for them to have sex at 16. You didn't tell them unprotected sex. You didn't tell them protected sex. You didn't say, go out and have sex at 16 years old. But your mother has to bear the consequences because you have to come back home with your pregnancy. The man go about his business, and I'm supposed to become mother, grandmother, protector, provider, and caretaker. It's crazy. We need to examine the things that we put in the books before we put them into our society. We as a people have to be more focused and conscious of the things that we do and we say, because too often the rules and the laws are so confusing. We don't know whether we're standing, we're sitting, we're going, or we're coming. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant day. God bless you.
Thank you, caller. As the caller said, and he said, I try to be neutral. Not that I am, but as the host, I think I should try to be objective, at least in what I'm sharing. Mm-hmm. And yes, the laws are there, and some need work. Laws are always a work in progress. That's why we have amendments. Situation change, circumstances change, so we make the adjustment. What can push an adjustment in a law is society's view of the law. And a case in point, pet project, that was the marijuana law. Not too long ago, anything to do with marijuana at certain levels was criminal. Society has changed, the views have changed, so an adjustment was made where certain aspects of it are no longer criminal. If enough persons in St. Kitts and Nevis are of the view that certain laws on the books are hurting more than they're helping our young people, use your voice. Parliamentarians are representatives of the people. Now, person say, I work for government, and you say, I work for you, which is the truth. Politicians work for you too, you know. Use your voice. Speak to your parliamentary representative and say, this law is hurting, and if we fix some of these, then we can have better outcomes, better results as it pertains to our young people.
Can you stick a pin?
Yes.
Good morning, your life.
Good morning again, GQ.
Good morning, Colonel.
I would like the caller to come down at Port Zante one this Friday night and see the behavior of young girls. Police around, I come up in an environment with Mutt and all of them. Stanley Funk, Jeffers, Sid Brooks, all of them boys. Come around a bar and see youngsters around bar drinking top shelf drink and spoiling and no, the man will call them and ask them a question, and you ain't getting that from the young police them. The police them drinking too. This is the point, miss. Come out, man. Me know what me talk about. Me born here, you know what you talking about. You understand? We want the police in from the police. I'm bashing them, but we want the police. We want the police do what they're supposed to do. If the police must lead, who is the police? We and the police. If they went in a training school and they must lead from the front, not the back. Lawlessness going on in the country. And you got to blame them. They got to take it. They got to take the blame. When I speak to the old police, them, Walwyn, Hanley, all of them. Man of the listening you, and you right? Because we see it when we go down. Have a good morning again.
Thank you.
You have another call.
Go ahead, caller. And welcome to Policing with you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Dr. Thompson.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm hearing.
Hello, it's Dr. Thompson.
Yes, go ahead, sir. I'm listening.
It's Dr. Thompson.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
It's with you.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from overseas. Can't hear you. Got a bad connection.
Can you hear me any better?
This is Boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can't hear you. We got a bad connection.
All right. Well, apparently he's not hearing us, so we do apologize to that caller. Okay. We have 4 more minutes left. I'll let you address the callers and any other concerns you'd like to share.
Sir. Now, every contribution is valid. We don't have to agree on everything. But what we need to agree on is that all of us, the police has their part to do, and we need to do it. So I'll agree with the caller in that regard, that we have a job to do, and where we have the mandate to do a particular job, then we need to do it. No hiding, no nothing, and it's not bashing. If we have a job to do, we do it. We need to do it. What helps is when the other persons who have a responsibility that we partner with the policing with you. Yes, I am a police officer. But yes, all of us are the police. As a parent, you're the police of your house. And the parents need to take a particular responsibility. As an elder or adult in your society, you're the police of your community. You have a responsibility to contribute where you can, to speak up and speak out where you need to in certain things. But what we do, and sometimes police as well, is that we shy away if we think the results may not be well received in terms of the action that we need to take. Take the action because the action is right. Take the action because that's the thing that needs to be done if we're going to get any better. And that goes for all of us, police and the people. As a society, we need to be more proactive. Need not wait until something happens to try to fix it, but to try to prevent some of the things from happening. And that can only happen if we work together. Work with the police, police work with you. If we work together, then we can get things done. And that is where we want to end for today. Let's just work together. Thanks for joining, and hope you'll join us again next week for a similar program. Have a blessed day.
Tell me what to think about Christ, who made their sacrifice now. Tell me what to think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think.
iFirst is having a huge summer sale for the month of July.